I'd like you to just take a look very quickly at the notes. Kind of see if you can figure them out in your head, because this piece is not very stepwise. We've got more skips than we used to. And by now, you should be having some level of comfort with the musical notes on the page and what your fingers do. And I'm going to just kind of give you a little bit of a cautionary piece of advice here. One of the most common errors that students make is they confuse the third and the first fingers. The reason is because on the A string anyway, this is when the error occurs, they both involve lines. So for instance, the first finger is on the third line, that's the B line. The third finger is on the fourth line, that's the D line. So mentally, there's a little bit of confusion here. So some students will put 1 when they should put 3, some will put 3 when they should put 1. That is the finger numbers I'm talking about. So just kind of be aware of that. And if you need to, before we do any of these lines, and we will do each line separately, you might want to just kind of try to figure it out with your left hand without using the bow before we start. If that's not an issue for you, let's get started. Now, the first note we said is a pickup, and we have to know how to play that. Now, you'll notice it starts up bow. Starting up bow is not as challenging as everyone thinks. A lot of people think that when you start up bow, you have to start at the tip. But actually, nothing could be further from the truth. Once you get the hang of realizing that you don't have to start up bow, all up bows at the tip, you can start at the frog, at the middle, or the upper half. You could actually start the frog too, but you don't have much room, so that's not really appropriate. So if you want to start an up bow for this piece, it's most appropriate, and you'll see why as you go on, to start at the middle. So let's just play some pickups, and then the next note as well. So we'll play the first 2 notes of the piece, and I'd like you to count yourself in. Let's do it this way. 1, 2, and 1. So just that much. 1, 2, and 1. All on the E string. Let's do it 3 times. 1, 2. And you'll notice I've put my bow on the string before I start. 1, 2. Last time. 1, 2. So that's already half the battle for learning the pickup, and really doesn't get much more difficult from that. So the next thing is to learn the first line. Let's count it, and I'm going to sing out the finger numbers. E, 2, E, 2, E, 3, 1, 1, 2. Guess what? The next section, or the next line, is identical. So let's do it. E, 2, E, 2, E, 3, 1, 1, 2. You just learned the first 2 lines. Alright, now we have to play it. We're going to play it 5 times. 1, 2. Okay, a little bit of a hint here. Are you having trouble playing the E string when your second finger has been down on the A string? In other words, are you getting this? Are you getting that whistling sound? Something like that? There's a really simple solution to that. When you put your second finger down, well, either you have to just take it out faster so that when you get to open E string, you're able to play without getting the second finger in the way. Or, another possibility is that your finger is just not enough to the left. So you might want to put your finger almost to the left of the A string. Obviously you have to push down the A string, but you can even touch the D string a little bit if you have bigger fingers like me. So let's try it again. Another 4 times. 1, 2. Always remember, when you're doing that second line with the pickup, that is also an up bow. 3 more times. Ready? 1, 2. Last time. 1, 1, 2. Okay, now we're going to learn the next section. I would say we can call the first 2 lines the A section. And the next, well, I guess we can say 2 lines is the B section. So it's a song in 2 parts. Okay, the next part we're going to sing it with the finger names. 2, 1, 1, 1, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1. Now that's half of the B section. So let's start with that. And we're going to start on the string, 2nd finger, pick up to the 3rd line. 1, 2. Alright, let's do it another 4 times. 1, 2. Alright, another 3 times. Ready, go. Alright, another 2 times. Ready, go. Last time. I might have added an extra time in there. That's okay. Ready, go. Good. And also, this will also help you to remember what string to put your fingers on, because suddenly we're using a little bit more E string here. You'll see it even more in the next line. Now, pick up to the 4th line. Goes like this. And I'll just say the finger numbers. 1 E, 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 3, E, 2, 3, 1, 1, A. Let's do it again. 1 E, 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 3, E, 2, 3, 1, 1, A. Let's do it 5 times. On the string, ready, go. Another 4 times, ready, go. Now make sure you hold that last note 3 full 8th notes. Da da ba ba bum. That's how long it has to be. Let's do it 3 more times. 1, 2. One, 2, 3. Alright, let's do it another 2 times. Ready, go. Last time. Now, we haven't been doing the dynamics yet in the whole piece. And I think we can already start adding dynamics into this section. So, look where the crescendo is. Da 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 da. Can you do it? The way to get louder. Well, there's a few ways. You can use more bow speed, you can use more weight into the string from your arm, and you can use a little bit more pressure from your index finger. And I'll let you figure out which way works best for you, because you know a lot of this depends on your own unique anatomy. I would say for the most part, it's all about arm weight though. 1, 2. Let's do the entire B section now, 3 times. Starting from pick up to measure 9. Ready. Oh, and now let's do the dynamic in that measure, in that line as well. So the dynamics get louder. Da 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 da. Let's go on. Da 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 da. Now have a look then. If you see here, there's a crescendo in the 3rd line, but that crescendo doesn't say that we go to forte. That's very subjective. We could go to forte, but I'm going to tell you why I don't think that would be a good idea. Because the B section itself is one long phrase, a musical sentence. And I believe, based on the fact that we have the highest note in measure 14, that that's the climax of that phrase. So we have to actually get louder on the 3rd line, but not so loud that we get to forte yet. So the 2 crescendos work together. Let's do it 3 times. Second half of the piece. On the A string, second finger, ready, go. Now, let's do it 2 more times, and here's what I want you to watch out for. When you play the transition to the 4th line, in other words, when you play measure 12, I'd like you to play da, rest, da, dum. We didn't talk about that rest. That little sign is actually an 8th rest. An 8th rest means, well, we wait for an 8th note, we don't play. So, da, 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 dum. So I've been tapping 8th notes. Let's do it. Ready, go. Rest. Rest. Let's do it again. Ready. Last time on the string. Ready. Go. Last measure, there's no rest. I'm sorry, I backtrack on that one. So the very last measure, 3 full 8th notes, no rest. But we have to observe the other rests. Now, let's play the entire piece, and I want you to look for the rests. There's a rest at the end of the 1st line. There's a, well, in the middle of the 1st line. There's a rest in the middle of the 2nd line. Ready, go. Rest. 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 Guess what? We're going to repeat to the beginning. Ready, go. Rest. 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 Now 3 beats. All right. Now let's add the last remaining dynamics. So you see we kind of put together a piece layer by layer by layer. I don't throw everything at you at once because if I did, it's just too much to think about. Violin is hard enough. So the very first dynamic we see is mezzo forte. So we're not going to start very loudly. And then we're going to be piano with the 2nd repetition of the first, well, let's call it let's call it a phrase. So, in other words, when you play the 2nd line, it's going to be an echo of the 1st line. That's piano. Let's do the whole piece. This is going to be the last time. On the string, ready, go. One, two, rest. Repeat sign. One final thought. How did I get softer? We talked about getting louder. But getting softer is, well, kind of the reverse. You use less bow, you use less weight on the string, and you use less pressure from your index finger. So I'd like you to play this piece a few times, experiment, see if you can figure out what it is that allows you to get the different sounds for the dynamics, and you're going to have some fun with it.